NASCAR Chicago Street Race paused for 2026, aims for 2027 return. NASCAR takes a breather on Chicago Street Race, eyes a bigger return in 2027. But here's where it gets controversial. As we near the end of 2025, NASCAR fans were left wondering about the fate of one of the most thrilling events on the racing calendar, the Chicago Street Race. For the past 3 years, the roar of engines and the cheers of fans echoed through the Windy City's downtown streets. However, with the expiration of a 3-year contract, NASCAR has decided to hit the pause button on this beloved event. But fear not, NASCAR enthusiasts. This isn't a permanent goodbye. In a letter to Mayor Brandon Johnson, Julie Gisbergen, president of the Chicago Street Race, revealed plans to explore a new event format and a more efficient course setup. The goal? To return in 2027 with an even better experience for both locals and visitors. Our vision is for the Chicago Street Race to be a highlight of the city's calendar, Gisbergen wrote. We're working closely with community leaders to create a shorter build schedule, enhance the event experience, and bring in more tourism opportunities. While the Chicago Street Race takes a temporary hiatus, NASCAR isn't leaving the city in the dust. They're bringing a new street race to San Diego for the 2026 season. But the Windy City's race office remains open, and community partnerships are still thriving. We're deeply committed to our relationship with Chicago, Gisbergen emphasized. We're not just a racing organization, but a good neighbor and partner in this vibrant city. The Chicago Street Race was more than just a race, it was a festival of speed, music, and entertainment. The 12-turn, 2.2-mile course along Lake Michigan and Grant Park provided a breathtaking backdrop for the Xfinity and Cup Series races. The event's success was a testament to its ability to appeal to both casual racing fans and die-hard enthusiasts. But not everyone was a fan. The street closures and construction schedule drew criticism from some locals. However, NASCAR listened and made significant improvements, reducing the build schedule from 43 days to 25. Drivers, too, had concerns about the course layout, but by the 3rd year, they were singing its praises. Kyle Larson, a Hendrick Motorsports driver, called Chicago probably my favorite event in NASCAR each year. Shane Van Gisbergen, who dominated the racing in Chicago, echoed Larson's sentiments. It's a cool place to come to, he said after his Cup win this year. You feel a nice vibe. It's pretty unique like that. So, what does the future hold for the Chicago Street Race? Will it return stronger than ever in 2027? And what about the decision to replace it with a San Diego race in 2026? Is this a smart move, or will fans miss the Windy City's charm? Thought-provoking question: what do you think about NASCAR's decision to pause the Chicago Street Race? Is it a bold move or a missed opportunity? Let us know in the comments below. NASCAR Chicago Street Race 2026 cancelled. What's next for the event? Here's a bombshell for Chicago's racing fans: NASCAR's iconic Chicago Street Race is hitting the brakes in 2026. No, not because of a crash, but because the city and the sport are clashing over timing, costs, and logistics. But here's where it gets controversial. While fans are left wondering if their 4th of July weekend spectacle is gone for good, the real drama is brewing behind the scenes. Let's dive into the details and the questions that could split the community. The decision came swiftly after the 3rd annual race in July 2025, which snaked through Grant Park and Michigan Avenue. NASCAR announced it would pause the event in 2026 to explore a new date and streamline the setup process. In a letter to Mayor Brandon Johnson, the organization cited the need to address the city's concerns, including the strain on resources and the logistical headache of constructing and dismantling a temporary 2.2-mile racetrack. Julie Gisbergen, president of the Chicago Street Race, emphasized the goal of returning in 2027 with a better event, promising shorter build times and enhanced tourism appeal. But here's the catch: the city isn't just asking for a new date. Officials want a financial renegotiation, faster construction, and a shift away from the July 4th weekend, a move that sparked fierce debate. Alderman Bill Conway, whose ward borders the racecourse, argues that Chicagoans deserve access to Grant Park during the holidays, not just for the spectacle but for their own enjoyment. And yet, some fans and business owners wonder, if the race is moved, will the global spotlight on Chicago dim? Let's break down the numbers. Under the original 3-year agreement, 2023 to 2025, NASCAR paid the city escalating fees, from $500,000 to $605,000 annually, plus a $2 per ticket fee and commissions on food and merchandise. In 2024, they added a $2 million payment for city expenses. The economic impact was undeniable. Last year's race generated $128 million and drew 53,000 visitors, while the TV broadcast gave Chicago a $43.6 million media boost. But TV ratings have dipped every year, with the 2025 Cup Series race averaging just 2.1 million viewers, a 30% drop since 2023. And this is the part most people miss: the race's success isn't just about money. It's about balance. Residents and businesses have grumbled about street closures and noise, even as the city celebrated its global exposure. This year, NASCAR tried to streamline operations, reopening roads 2 days early. But can a shorter setup truly offset the disruption? Meanwhile, NASCAR is reportedly eyeing a new street race in San Diego for 2026. Could this be a replacement for Chicago or a test run for expanding beyond the Midwest? The mayor's office remains optimistic, vowing to resume discussions for a 2027 return. Yet critics argue that without a firm commitment, Chicago risks losing its edge in the motorsport world. So, what do you think? Is it worth sacrificing a holiday weekend for a race that's become as much a civic debate as a sporting event? Or is it time for NASCAR to pivot to new cities and dates? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story isn't over yet. NASCAR Chicago Street Race paused for 2026, what's next? In a surprising twist, NASCAR has officially announced that it will take a break from hosting the Chicago Street Race in 2026, a decision confirmed by officials on Friday. This comes after the organization wraps up its 3-year contract with the city, a partnership that was initially established during the tenure of former Mayor Lori Lightfoot, which also includes the possibility for a 2-year extension. According to a letter from NASCAR sent to Mayor Brandon Johnson's office, the decision to pause the race is rooted in the need for additional time to reorganize the event, specifically to streamline the setup and dismantling process that accompanies it. Julia Giese, who serves as the president of the NASCAR Chicago Street Race, shared hopes for a return to Chicago in 2027, aiming to reschedule the race with a more efficient timeline than in previous years. This could mean shorter preparation periods, which could potentially ease logistical challenges. In spite of the temporary halt, Giese assured that NASCAR remains committed to engaging with the Chicago community throughout the next year. This might include initiatives or events that keep the relationship vibrant and beneficial even without the race itself. Moreover, Mayor Johnson expressed a desire to move the race away from the busy Independence Day weekend, which often places additional pressure on local law enforcement. He indicated that the city will actively seek alternative dates for the event in 2027, which could help alleviate some of these concerns. So, what do you think? Is pausing the race a smart move, allowing NASCAR to refine its operations? Or does this delay put too much distance between the organization and its fans in Chicago? The conversation is bound to stir up differing opinions, so feel free to share your thoughts.